Greetings everyone, this is Jeff Wilkerson, Professor of Physics at Luther College, bringing you once more what to look for in the night sky. This time we're going to be talking about the week of May 9th, 2022. We'll start with a story that it's pretty common. So what I do when I teach physics classes or astronomy classes or whatever classes I'm teaching here is I often give the students, we'll have exams, and ahead of the exams I give the students the previous year's exam to look at and the solutions, some suggested solutions for that exam. I don't usually look at it myself too much. I just give it to them as a study tool, or maybe even give them a couple of years of exams to look at. And then I sit down and I make up an exam. And and before I finalize that exam for the students to take, I look back at the exams I've given them to study, and often questions that are almost identical appear on those two exams. It's just exactly the same concepts I'm asking about in the same kind of ways. Things keep coming back, and it says a lot about how my mind works, about how I think of what I think is important, and about how I think about approaching material. And so I bring that up now because this week we're going to talk about something I'm sure we talked about not very long ago. We talk about quite a bit here this week. So we're going to look at the same patch of sky. And one of the reasons we do that is every now and then we stop to see where the moon's tracking, especially in these weeks where the moon's big, filling out and washing out a lot of other objects. We pay attention to the moon. Sometimes we don't pay a lot of attention to it. We talk about it briefly and then we move on and talk about something else. We're going to talk about it this week because there's a total eclipse coming up, and maybe you've read about it, maybe you've heard about it. But at the very end of the week, there's a total eclipse, and so we want to prepare for that by watching the moon track against the background stars. But the moon's path, so the moon orbits the Earth orbits the sun. That path of the Earth around the sun identifies the ecliptic. So you can think about the ecliptic as the apparent path of the sun against the background stars in the sky, or you can think about it as the plane that's defined by the Earth's orbit around the sun. And most of the objects in the solar system, most of the planets, the major planets in the solar system, their orbits are tilted just a little bit relative to that, so that the solar system makes a relatively flattened disk. The lunar orbit around the Earth is tilted just 6 degrees, not very much, so it doesn't get very far from that. So it stays, this pattern stays pretty close to where the sun is in the sky. It ventures off just a little bit. Now, the fact that it's tilted that much means that when you look at the Earth and the sun, the moon is often up here or down here when it's full. It's full on this side. The sun lights out this direction. There's daytime on the Earth. There's nighttime on the Earth. It's full when the moon is exactly opposite the sun in the sky, but it's usually above that plane or below that plane that's defined by the sun-Earth line, so we don't get an eclipse. This time through, it's going to be right there, and so we're going to get that eclipse. So it's right on the ecliptic. Well, that also means it passes the same stars in the sky all the time. So if we're talking about the path of the moon, we end up talking about the same stars in the sky. And when I look at this, so for example, we start this week. Let's jump right to the night sky. Here it is. We're 37 and a half minutes into this video, and I haven't said anything really about what to look for in the night sky, despite that being exactly what I said I was going to talk about. So in that way, it's also just like class. We're in Leo to start on the 9th. So if you go out on the evening of the 9th, Monday evening the 9th, just after dark, the moon's about 60% full. And Regulus is the bright star right there. This is the sickle shape of Leo. And when we think of a triangle shape back this way, we got Dana Mola at the tip of the triangle. Regulus is the very bright star at the base of the sickle shape. And Algebra, Gamma, is the Gamma Leonis is the star right there. Beautiful double star. I know we've talked about this, a real binary star. One star orbiting around the other. But this will hold up well to the moon, so that if you have a small telescope and you want to see something, go out, look at the moon, making a beautiful sort of triangle with Algebra, Gamma Leonis, and Regulus like this. And then take your small telescope and look at the beautiful binary star Algebra, and it's fantastic. So this is where we start the week on the evening of Monday the 9th. The moon's going to track this direction. That's what the moon does. The moon moves easterly against the background stars. That's due to this orbit, this direction. It's orbiting around here. And so it's going to track across this direction until we get to the 13th, Friday. Oh, wait, look at that. Friday the 13th. That's actually the first time I noticed that. Anyway, we get to Friday the 13th, and on Friday the 13th, the moon will have moved all the way over here into Virgo and be sitting right above the bright star Spica. By this time, it's almost full. Okay, the moon is really close to full by this point, and it's sitting above the bright star Spica right here. Very nice pairing with Spica. Go out and observe that. Spica, we like to say, sits at the base of the Y of Virgo, and the Y of Virgo, I'm sure I've told you this before, it looks like a martini glass to me. Spica's right at the base of that, and the opening of the glass, the opening of the Y, cups the triangle. I've spread that out just a little too much. It's not quite that big. Cups the triangle tail of Leo back here, and this whole region is just full of galaxies. The Virgo cluster of galaxies is here, and so you want to go out and you want to look this direction for galaxies, but not now, not with the moon sitting there almost full. It's going to wash out everything in that region except Parima here, which is Gamma Virgo, and the Gamma star of Virgo, and the Gamma star of Leo, the Gamma star of Virgo. Parima is another really beautiful binary star. So watch your binary star here, your binary star here. Enjoy the moon here. And then by 2 nights later, on the evening of the 15th, that's why we're doing this. That's what this is all about. Who knows what we've talked about so far? We've talked about writing tests for exams, for courses. Why? I don't know. But what this is all about is on the evening of the 15th, for those of us in the eastern 2/3 of North America, and South America there too, but in the Americas, we'll see a total eclipse of the moon here. And so by the 15th, the moon will have tracked over here, and it's sitting in Libra. And so these are the stars of Libra, and this is how I know. I'm sure we've talked about this recently. But this is one of the things that really jogs my memory about it. I'm sure we've talked about these gamma stars here, and what fine, beautiful double stars, because they're so easy to find and they're so beautiful in a telescope. That's why we keep circling back to them like we do just beautifully crafted exam questions that get at concepts that are important and the concepts that require you to think in a different, certain kind of way and this and that. And so we keep circling back to this because they're just so great. But the moon will actually be sitting below the Gamma star in Libra. And Libra, none of these stars are super bright in Libra. I know we talked about Zubayn al-Ghanubi and Zubayn al-Askamali. And there's a picture out on our website. By all means, go out and look at the asterism section of the astronomy website, luther.edu, and look at the pictures here of at least some of these stars in these regions. But by now the moon will have tracked over here and be sitting just below the Gamma star of Libra. And people don't know Libra quite as much. These stars are going to be a little bit hard to see with this 100% full moon. There's just beautiful, beautiful moon right here. But what's going to happen for me, where I am in the central part, right in the central part of the United States, the partial eclipse is going to start at about 9:30 on that evening, Sunday the 15th. So on Sunday the 15th at about 9:30 Central Daylight Time, I'm going to start to see partial eclipse. And by an hour later at 10:30, we're going to have a total eclipse. And so we can watch that eclipse progress through the night. And as it gets dark, these stars will pop out. You'll be able to see these stars better right here. So this will be a chance to watch the eclipse, which is just worth watching in and of its own right, but then watch the 3 stars above it. There's a triangle of stars above it. That's the top of Libra. And you can recognize the gamma, alpha, and beta stars of Libra right here, and pay attention to those stars. I would send you with your small telescope to look at the double star here, but it's not. It's here in Libra. Since we've done the other 2 gamma stars that way. But that's what we got. We got the moon tracking through Leo and then Virgo and into Libra, and a chance to identify some of the stars in these constellations. Hopefully you have clear skies. I don't think, since I last recorded one of these for you a week ago, which would have been the week of May 2, 2022, I don't think we've had a single clear night. In fact, I'm sure we have not had a single clear night. It has been cloudy, cloudy, cloudy for us. Not a clear morning in the sky. Occasionally we could see Venus. Planets are still great in the morning sky. Still go out and see the planets. But occasionally we could see Venus burning through the clouds. But that's about it. That's what we got. Have a great week ahead, everybody. As always, thanks for watching. And we'll think. I promise you next week we'll do something maybe we haven't done before, right? We won't. That's not the way my mind works. We'll circle back to something that I think is exciting and fun, and I'll have forgotten that we talked about it. Anyway, we'll see you all next week. Have a great week.